Being ignored hurts. You text someone and they leave you on read, or worse, delivered, and now you're just sitting there staring at your phone like it personally betrayed you. But why does it feel so bad? Why does being ignored hit harder than stepping on a Lego at 3 a.m.? Let's break it down. Welcome to the beautifully messed up science of being ignored. First, let's get one thing clear. Your brain hates being ignored. Like, genuinely cannot handle it. Back in caveman times, being ignored meant one thing. You were about to get kicked out of the tribe. And back then, no tribe equals no food, no fire, no protection equals your dinner. So your brain evolved to treat social rejection as a life or death threat. Fast forward to today. You're not being chased by wolves, but getting left undelivered still sets off that same panic response. Fun. Here's the science-y part. When you feel ignored or socially rejected, your brain activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the same area that processes physical pain. Let me repeat that. Your brain thinks being ignored is literally getting punched. It's the same pain system. Rejection equals brain slap. And it doesn't stop there. When you get ignored, your brain also shuts down dopamine release, the happy chemical. That's why you suddenly feel low energy, bad vibes, and like everything tastes bland. Even cookies, because someone ghosted you. Yup, your brain's dramatic. But wait, it gets worse. Your brain's not just hurting, it's overanalyzing. It starts asking all the dumbest questions at 2 a.m. Did I say something weird? Should I not have used the skull emoji? Maybe they died? No, they didn't die. They're just ignoring you while watching reels and eating chips. Now let's talk attention. In the age of social media, attention equals currency. Likes, views, replies, all tiny dopamine snacks. So when you don't get attention, your brain goes into dopamine withdrawal. You're basically craving a response like it's a drug. And the worst part, you saw them online. They posted. They're active. They liked someone else's post, just not yours. That's a psychological carpet burn. But here's the kicker. Sometimes people aren't ignoring you on purpose. Our brains suck at perspective. Someone might be busy, distracted, mentally unwell, or just didn't know what to say. But your brain doesn't care. It fills in the blanks with the worst case scenario. Every single time. Why? Because of a thing called the negativity bias. It's your brain's built-in habit of assuming the worst so it can protect you, which is sweet in theory. But in reality, it just turns you into an anxious detective over a text that said K. Let's take a detour into rejection sensitivity. Some people feel the sting of being ignored way more than others. It's a real psychological trait, often linked to childhood experiences, trauma, or just how your brain's wired. So if you feel devastated after being left on red, you're not weak. You're literally wired to feel that way more intensely. Still sucks though. Now, let's flip the coin. Why do people ignore others in the first place? Brace yourself. The reasons are endless and weirdly human. They're overwhelmed. They forgot. They're anxious. They're avoidant. They're bad at communication. They think ghosting is normal, or plot twist. They just don't want to talk. Not everyone's trying to hurt you, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Now let's get existential for a second. Being ignored triggers one of our biggest fears, that we don't matter, that we're invisible, that no one notices us. It's not about the text, it's about feeling erased. And yeah, that's heavy, but also, that's what makes us human. You care, you want connection, you want to feel seen. That's not weakness, that's biology. But here's the science-based good news. You can train your brain to handle it better. Yep, neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, means you can literally build resilience to social pain. You can get better at sitting with discomfort, better at not taking silence personally, better at focusing on people who do respond. Also, dopamine detoxes help. Taking time away from constant notifications resets your brain's reward system, so you're not dependent on a text bubble to feel okay. And finally, the best response to being ignored? Keep showing up anyway. Not for them, for you. Because being ignored doesn't define your value. Someone else's silence is not your worth. Science says your brain's gonna freak out. Let it. And then move forward anyway. You're more than a scene at 3:14 p.m. You're a walking galaxy of neurons, experiences, and microwave popcorn. You'll be fine. So yeah, the science of being ignored is basically, it hurts. It messes with your brain. And it feels personal, even when it's not. But understanding the science, that's your first step to not letting it destroy you. And hey, if no one else says it today, you matter, and I see you. You're welcome. That's gonna cost you one subscribe, and maybe a like, or just not ignoring me. That works too.